Welcome to This Explainer. We always talk about football as this game of breathtaking skill and incredible tactical genius. But right underneath the roaring crowds and the glittering trophies, there's actually a pretty fragile reality. History is so often decided by a single, completely flawed human being. Today, we're launching an investigation into the incredibly high-stakes world of World Cup refereeing. We're going to break down how the biggest, most important tournament on Earth has been fundamentally shaped by the people holding the whistles. Picture this for a second. Imagine the profound emotional devastation. You've literally trained your entire life. You're carrying the hopes of millions of fans on football's biggest stage, feeling this absolutely crushing weight of a nation's expectations. And then, in just a fraction of a second, you watch all your dreams evaporate. Not because you were outplayed, and not because of some brilliant tactical move by the other team. Nope. It's because of one whistle. One irreversible decision that echoes through stadiums and living rooms all around the globe. These isolated split-second decisions have forged absolute heroes, they've created definitive villains, and they've sparked international outrage that literally endures for decades. In This Explainer, we are counting down the most monumental referee mistakes that permanently changed the sport, building up to a controversy so profound it is still fiercely debated over half a century later. This is the unseen narrative of the beautiful game. All right, let's dive into our first section, the Ghost Goal Catalyst. We're starting at a huge modern breaking point, the 2010 tournament.
Okay, it's England versus Germany. The tension in the stadium is just palpable. Frank Lampard absolutely unleashes this massive strike from the edge of the box. The ball hammers the underside of the crossbar, plunges straight downward, and undeniably crosses the goal line by a clear, obvious margin. The stadium sees it, the television cameras broadcast it to millions, yet the referee's whistle stays completely silent. The goal just isn't given. It was an omission so glaring, it left players clutching their heads in pure disbelief.
Now, what's really fascinating here is that this wasn't just a blown call, right? It was a literal tipping point. The global outrage practically dragged the sport's governing bodies kicking and screaming into the 21st century, forcing the eventual adoption of goal line technology. A mistake that actually rewrote the rules of the game should naturally be the peak of our list. But amazingly, the chaos gets so much deeper from here. Which brings us to Section 2, the 2002 tournament debates. Let's rewind a bit and look at a tournament completely engulfed in compounding controversies. As you can see in this breakdown, back in 2002, the host nation South Korea found themselves at the center of back-to-back refereeing storms. Against Italy, a highly disputed red card and a disallowed Italian golden goal sent absolute shockwaves through Europe. And then, just days later in the quarterfinal against Spain, two more disallowed Spanish goals triggered a massive dividing fan reaction globally. These matches ignited a deeply polarizing debate about officiating integrity, with nations trading furious accusations. To this very day, millions of fans view that 2002 tournament as the most monumental refereeing crisis in modern football. The arguments remain intensely heated, and we're presenting both sides neutrally here, because honestly, people are still unpacking every single whistle and raised flag. Yet, as chaotic as the summer of 2002 was, there's a moment even more internationally famous waiting for us. Let's step further back into the archives. Section 3, the hand and the line. We're heading to 1986. Talk about a staggering disconnect, right? Just look at this comparison. From the referee's vantage point in Mexico City, he genuinely thought he saw a smaller player miraculously out-jump an imposing English goalkeeper to score a totally legitimate header. But the global reaction? Well, aided by television replays, the rest of the world saw the unfiltered truth. Diego Maradona had slyly punched the ball into the net. The immediate global controversy over this unseen handball, dubbed the Hand of God, remains one of the most shocking illusions in sports history.
Now, while the Hand of God is culturally iconic, completely defining the legacy of that World Cup, our investigation leads us further up the mountain. We're looking for the absolute peak of controversy. And that brings us to a final match goal that continues to spark intense, fiercely contested arguments decades later.
We've arrived at the ultimate historical ghost. Section 4, the 1966 World Cup Final.
Over half a century of bitter debate boils down to one simple, agonizing question. Did the ball actually cross the line? It's England against West Germany. England's Jeff Hurst shoots. The ball hammers off the underside of the crossbar, bounces straight down onto the turf, and is frantically cleared away. The referee consults his linesman and, amidst deafening stadium noise, gives the goal. But did the whole ball cross? That single, grainy mystery haunts the legacy of the sport.
What makes 1966 completely unique are the sheer stakes. This wasn't just some group stage match, it decided the champion of the world. I mean, people have thrown everything at this single bounce of a ball. Retrospective 3D modeling, literal university physics studies, yet the endless debate over the ball's exact position remains passionately unresolved. It's a legacy that perfectly fractures football history in two.
So, how did the sport try to fix this? Let's jump back to the modern era for Section 5, the era of VAR.
Just look at how this timeline builds, from the endless debate of '66 to the hand of God, the outrage of 2002, and Lampert's undeniable ghost goal. Decades of high-stakes human error finally just broke the system. The sport realized it could no longer rely solely on fragile human eyes operating at full sprinting speed. This entire chain of emotional devastation directly birthed our modern reality, the era of video assistant refereeing.
But, as we all know, a perfect solution is kind of a myth. Has technology actually eliminated controversy? Absolutely not. Instead of missing blatant handballs, we traded them for agonizing millimeter-level offside debates drawn with digital lines. VAR fundamentally altered the DNA of the sport, introducing entirely new problems and momentum-killing delays. The wait for a video check has honestly become its own unique form of modern sporting drama.
Because at the heart of all this chaos remains a deeply human figure, the referee. Whether they're aided by a control room full of screens or standing alone on the grass with just a whistle, they are burdened with sky-high global expectations. They operate under immense pressure, with the absolute inevitability of human error, forced to make split-second choices that millions are going to scrutinize in slow motion for the rest of their lives.
So, as we conclude this explainer, we really have to ask ourselves, can referees ever truly get it right? We remember World Cups for legendary champions and beautiful goals, but history so often pivots on a single flawed decision. It leaves us with a provocative thought. Are these controversial whistles just mistakes we need to eradicate? Or is human error and the endless, passionate debate it sparks actually the true soul of the game we love? Thanks for exploring this history with me, and keep questioning the story behind the whistle.